Hey, Rob.
Hey,
Mhm.
I'm not sure if anybody's actually gonna show up today or not.
Cool. Mhm. I finally got my GitHub account. Can get back into my GitHub account so I can send you the list of those URLs. I was like, I'll wait to do that till so I can actually do it in an effective way.
Okay. Um, just wait another minute or two and see if Dan shows up. Otherwise, um, yeah, I guess that's probably all we should expect. Um, yeah.
Sounds good.
Was there particular search stuff you wanted to spend some time going over, Sarah, or did you want to try and dive more into it first?
I think like just okay. We could talk about that in a second then.
Okay. Hey, Dan.
Hey, how's it going?
I don't think there's anyone else we're really expecting today, so um, I guess I don't know if there's any stuff people wanted to add to the update stock. There was not really a whole lot to go over, other than finally the Wayback Import stuff for so long is merged, so that code base is less crazy. And I proposed on the Internet Archive Slack. I asked them about whether they'd be interested in taking over ownership or otherwise integrating it into the Internet Archive Python module for the part that we want to split off. And people were like, oh, this seems super useful and interesting. And then I haven't heard anything back since then. And we're like, we'll take a look. So I don't know. We'll see if anything happens there.
On the one hand, that response is kind of the pattern, but it's also a lot to go through, and it's only
yeah. I tried to point them to like basically just this one file, but it's still a crazy file with all kinds of weird hacks.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I'll probably bug them again in like maybe the end of the week or next week or something. But otherwise, it might be that the right path is just to split it off into a module anyway, and then if they want to sort of take it over or incorporate it as a submodule or something, then that's easy to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there were a couple hot fixes that fell out of merging that, unsurprisingly, since it was such a big chunk of work.
Weren't we
But there's-
running off of that branch though already?
we were running off of that branch.
But we didn't listen to the changes there.
Yeah, but at the end, like I tried to squash everything so that it was a little bit more sane to rebase on top of master, because it had split off so long that joining them together was just sort of like, well, that may work well or it may not.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so there were a couple things, mostly like independencies that had changed. So there's an issue with Sentry where it now truncates error messages at 512 characters. And we had like the help check script definitely is pretty much always at least double that in terms of what it sends, because URLs are long and it lists like 10 URLs in there.
I see.
So there's a hotfix, I think I tagged you on it, that you may want to take a look at if you know of or can think of a better solution, because the fix for it is like a really shitty monkey patch something in Sentry, but there's a comment in the source code where it truncates in Sentry source because their client is open source that just says like, do this here so people can monkey patch the thing. So I'm like, I guess this is the recommended
This is the
solution?
extension mechanism that they have in mind.
Yeah.
Cool. 476.
Yeah, so I also posted on their like user forum about it. I don't think anybody's responded yet, but to see maybe if there's something I'm missing or if they're planning on adding that functionality.
I mean, monkey patching a module level variable like that doesn't seem like the worst thing, but it would be better if they let you do it through an
No,
environment.
it's just not great. Yeah.
Huh. So splitting off the thing, maybe we can do this in high bandwidth. The scope of the thing that we would split out would be basically it's a Python rester to the CDX API, and that's the piece that's of general interest, right? Anything to do with our database, not of general interest.
Right. Also the code for dealing with mementos, because it has the whole like, if I follow this redirect, is that a meaningful one to follow if I want this actual memento question?
Right.
Since the API definitely will give you something from a year ago, if that's the closest it has.
Right.
Like it claims to have a record, but then the one that matches is from a year before what you asked for.
Right.
Anyway, so yeah, those are like the two main things. It's really only those two APIs that it covers. And there's, I think for Wayback specific stuff, there's really only one other API, which is the time map, which is more like, it's kind of like CDX, but for a single URL, and the format for it is totally different.
So there's I'm still wrapping my brain around this. The Python package that they have is all about works, which
well, it's all about items, which, as far as that overlaps with Wayback,
yeah,
right? Because this is in like separate archive, the archive, and then Wayback, the like web page part of the archive.
right.
The way Wayback stuff surfaces in the archive as a whole is as like work items.
Got it.
Yeah.
So that they've got covered, but that's not an API that's very interesting to us.
Yeah.
And then you're saying there's the CDX API, the Memento API,
Yeah.
and the time map concept, which I think is part of the Memento API, sort of.
Yeah.
So those things could make sense as like a Wayback specific Python library.
Yeah.
That doesn't really exist right now.
There's one that exists, and I think the only thing it does is time map, which is the one thing we don't do. And it doesn't really resolve any of the, like, all the crazy things we do because of the weird issues and edge cases we always encounter in their APIs. I think it doesn't attempt to solve any of that. And it also, I don't think it's been updated in like 5 years.
Yeah, 2013, November 2013.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. splitting that up feels like the kind of rote activity that a tired dad who's barely keeping up with edgy development could handle. So
Okay.
we're going to do that next week. Do you think it's worth waiting to hear back from them? Probably another week first.
Um, I would say so. Like the thing in there that's funky is that currently we have download a memento and then like convert the memento into our like import format dictionary. It's
Right.
like here are all the pieces we care about to send to the database.
Like that would need to be split out.
Yeah, that needs to be split out.
Yeah. I think I have my brain around that code because I think I wrote a version of that, if I'm thinking of the right piece. So
Yeah. Yeah, you're the person who originally wrote it, and I think that piece is still 80% the same. So
cool.
yeah, if you want to do that, that'd be great. Is that more or less important to you than the like Elastic stuff?
I got to
Yeah,
follow
metrics.
up on the Elastic stuff, but I think the Elastic stuff requires more mental focus. So maybe it would be good to have a low mental focus task on deck for me also.
Cool. Do you want me to make you an issue for that to track it?
Yeah, I'll make it real quick, or I'll make it
Okay.
after. Next time.
Cool. Sarah, did you have other stuff you wanted to go over besides search things?
I've just been creating issues for like the CSS, like refactoring our CSS. But now that I'm like looking into it, I think it's not quite so simple as I thought it was going to be because there's some unclear like mappings between things. So it's taking me a little bit longer to create the issues because I'm actually trying to dig through them and trying to find like the most straightforward cases. I think the ones that are more complicated, I can probably just handle like later or someone else who's like more familiar with the code base.
Okay.
So yeah, I'll work on that. I think like the diff view is gonna be interesting to like figure out how that should work. And then also like the bootstrap overrides. So yeah, I mean, I guess that's not like as high of a priority though as like search. So I might not get to that for a bit. So,
Okay.
but yeah, I'm like gonna continue to create issues, but I'm going to leave out like like it'll probably, some of those pieces will have to be migrated later because it's more complicated to fix. So yeah.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Okay.
So yeah, and I have that
Um,
pull request if you could like take a look sometime. It seems to work, but yeah, it'd be great to like have like a double check on that
Cool.
for sure. So
yeah, I'll try and give that another look in just a little bit after this, I guess.
cool. Thank you. Yeah.
Before we talk about search architectures, is there any specific stuff you wanted to go over, Gretchen? Okay. So I think the other thing on the agenda was just search stuff for you, Sarah. What is helpful to go over? What do you need guidance on, or?
I think like the main thing that I would like to have guidance on is just like how I should handle like making the API request, because I think like obviously building out the component and stuff is more straightforward, but once I was digging through like the API stuff like in my previous task, it became kind of obvious that there's like a sort of pattern, and then there's like the instantiation of the API, and there's the local API and the DB API. So I think I just need pointed in the right direction as to like which one am I trying to hook into. You know, where should I actually put these methods to make the API calls? I think, yeah, like I probably want to get that working first, and then I'll build out the component to like hook into that. That's usually how I work. So that's why I thought it'd be helpful for you to just walk me through a little bit, like how would you start like actually making that like connection, I guess. So
Yeah. So definitely you don't need to worry about the local API for the search. That's pretty much just the DB API.
okay.
And I think there's probably just all going to be flavors of calls to get pages or list pages. I forget which it is. Let me pull this up.
Okay.
Source services of MonitoringDB. Yeah, so that's just going to be calls to get pages, just with different query parameters. Which the way the API is written for JavaScript here just takes an object with whatever parameters you want. It may be that we need to add some custom serialization for parts of it. I think we do that a little bit. Because there might be some
serialization occur before I like pass the query in. Is that what you're saying, or?
It should happen inside the DB API class.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like when we, yeah, so in, where is this? So there's underscore create URL, the private method create URL. That, yeah, has a whole thing for serializing parts of that query object. And yeah, like it doesn't handle dates, for example. So like if you wanted to be able to pass in dates for the from, into, or before and after, well, for capture time. If you want to pass in dates for capture time rather than like a string, which I think would be nice, then you'd probably want to add some kind of serialization logic in here for saying like, oh, if I encounter a date object, I should convert that to an ISO string.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that seems fairly straightforward then. Like I just have to like look at the key in the query, right? And then I just like do a type check. Okay. Yeah. That makes sense.
Yep. But I think all you're really doing is modifying what you set for the query string where get pages gets called. And I think that happens in the web monitoring UI, like top level component.
Okay.
Right now. So it passes a callback down to page list.
Okay, makes sense. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So page list has this like did search callback. And so that just needs to be able to take probably a wider variety of parameters to specify what's being searched for.
Okay. All right. Okay. Cool. Okay, I think I have like enough to like go off of then for now.
Okay.
And then I'll like let you know if I like get stuck on something. So, but I think like at least now I have like a better idea of like how to start. So
awesome. So that makes sense. Cool.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
As of now, until I start to actually code it, and then I'm like, oh wait, actually this doesn't make sense. So.
Right. Then all the things I omitted will suddenly become apparent.
I love the line.
Right.
I love the line. I understand it perfectly as long as you have no follow-up questions.
Yeah. I'm sure like I'll probably run into some things, but for now, I think at least like the general flow like makes sense to me. So yeah, I can like get started on that.
Awesome. Are you going to be at the Code for SF meetup tonight?
I'm in Pennsylvania right now. So no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. You did mention that. I totally forgot.
Yeah. But I'll be there next week probably. Yeah.
Awesome.
Next week. So, yep. But not this week because I'm on the other side of the coast.
Yes.
Welcome to the sweaty East Coast.
Yeah, it's very humid here actually. I feel
Yes, it
very
is.
sticky. So, yeah.
I think I don't have anything else. So I guess that's good for today, and see y'all in a couple weeks or a week or whatever.
Cool. Congrats on the big PR getting in, man.
Yeah, thank you.
See you guys soon.
Bye.